Hello students, welcome back to my session. I am Komal ma'am and I am starting with the second chapter of class 7, which is nutrition in animals. So let's get started. So these are the subtopics in this chapter. We will study about first is animal nutrition. Animal nutrition we will talk about. Second topic is digestion. Third topic is digestion in humans. Fourth topic is digestion in grass eating animals. Grass eating animals are herbivores. We will talk about this later. But in this topic, we will talk about the digestion process in herbivores, or I can say grass eating animals. The last topic is feeding and digestion in amoeba. You all know what amoeba is. Amoeba is a single celled organism. So we will discuss about the feeding process and the digestion process in amoeba. So let's move. Now, before we go ahead, I want to ask a question. Why do we need food? What is the requirement of food? Can't we live without food? My question is, why do we need food? You all know this is a basic question. We need food for growth, energy, and repair. These are the three main functions of our body, which or the functions which occur in our body, and they occur or they process because of our food. So the answer is we need food for growth, energy, and repair. Now, what is growth? How do we get growth from food? Now, suppose if there is a baby and he is in his growing stage. If you are baby, you are in your growing stage, you need food. But how food helps in growth? Suppose if there is an organism which is small, it will grow and forms a big size. But how it grows, how it gets food, or how it gets nutrition? So basically, we all know and we have already read that the food contains some components or some substances like carbohydrate, vitamins, minerals, fats, proteins. By the ingestion or by taking that food, those components present in our food, example carbohydrates, proteins, those components in our food gets assimilated, or I can say get mixed in our blood. By that we get growth. If I say you all need proteins or you all need that nutrient to grow, you are in a growing stage and you need lots of protein to grow your body. So we get growth from food. But how we get growth? How do we get growth? We get growth from food, but actually that we not get growth from food, but actually we not get growth from food, but from the nutrients present in the food. We get growth from proteins. You all are in growing stage. You should have a balanced diet, or you should have a diet with higher proteins, or the diet which is rich in protein. So let's move forward. The next function is required is repair. How do we repair, or what does it mean? Can we repair our body by eating food? Yes, we can repair our body or any cell in our body which is damaged by any means. We can repair our cells, or we can repair our wound. We can repair our body by eating food or by taking some nutrients. How? Suppose you get fever. In fever, you will get spinach soup or healthy food from your mother. What that food basically do in your body? It provides that nutrients or that specific nutrients by which your body gets repaired. So second function is repaired. Or if I say, if you get cut in your hand, or if you get damage, or if you get wound in any of the place in your body, it will get healed. But for that also you need proper nutrients, a proper food, a balanced diet. What is a balanced diet? A balanced diet is all the components. What I'm talking about, the components: carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals. These all the components, if all the components are present in a required amount or a balanced amount in a food, that food or that diet is a healthy diet or balanced diet. Now, the third function we can do with food or by the taking of food is energy. How do we get energy from food? It's not like that we eat food and we get energy. There is a huge process occurring in our cells by which we get energy. Now, what is that process? That is a long process which is not in our course, but for your understanding, I am telling you that if we eat food, that food is get digested in our body, and the nutrients in that food, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals, get assimilated or get absorbed by blood, get absorbed in our blood, and from that we get energy. Okay, now how do we get energy, and what nutrient should we get to get energy, and what nutrient we should get for growth? So let's discuss, and let's suppose, take an example. There's a farmer. The farmer works whole day and he's putting so much effort in the field. He is yielding crops. He's doing so much labor in his work. For that labor, he needs lots of energy. He needs lots of energy. But what is the source he is getting energy from? Labor is doing so much effort and so much work which requires or which needs energy, but from where the farmer gets energy? Anyone which is doing so much effort, or which is doing or who is doing any work which requires lots of energy and lots of efforts, he or she may get energy by what? By taking food. But what nutrients should be present in that food to get energy? So there are several nutrients present in our food: carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, fats, etc. If a person is doing so much effort, if a person requires so much energy to do anything, he or she should take the diet which is rich in carbohydrates. Why carbohydrate rich diet? Because carbohydrate nutrient is the nutrient which provides us lots of energy, which in turn gives us glucose, and by glucose we get so much energy. Simple, you understand this, that if a person is doing so much work and if anyone needs energy, he or she should use or should eat the food which is rich in carbohydrate. That's how it get energy. You think of yourself when you were used to go to school and you came from school, you were completely drained out and you were like, please give me food. Okay, and by eating food you get instant energy. What is the component, or how we can or you can get energy from that food? That food which you have eaten get assimilated or get absorbed by machinery of our cells and get assimilated or mixed in our blood. Mitochondria is the structure present in our cell which actually gives us energy in the form of ATP. So by eating food when you are completely drained out, you get instant energy. So these all three are the functions. What I have told is, why do we need food? We need food for growth, energy, and repair. These all three are the functions which are depend on what kind of food you are getting and what kind of food you are eating. If you eat burger, there is no protein or there is no nutrient present in it. So you all should have a balanced and a proper diet which consists of proteins, vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, etc. So all these three are the main functions for which we need to eat food and to get nutrients. So let's move forward. We will talk about animal nutrition. This topic contains nutrients requirement. Now by this you will say, what are the nutrients requirement? Nutrients are carbon dioxide, fats, minerals, vitamins, proteins. But here I am saying animal nutrition is comprises of three topics, which is nutrients requirement. The second subtopic in this animal nutrition is how do we take food, or I can say the second topic is ingestion or intake of food. So first topic is what are the nutrients required for animal nutrition. The second topic is ingestion of food or the method of intake of food. The second topic we will talk about is the method or the mode of intake of food. And the third topic in animal nutrition is utilization of that food, the food we eat, how it will get utilized in our body. So these are the three topics in this main topic, which is animal nutrition. This topic consists of, or I can write, you can also write. So here is the three subtopics. First topic is nutrients required. Means what kind of nutrients or what nutrients we require to get energy or to get anything. Now first topic in this topic is nutrients required, we will talk about. Second topic is mode or method of intake of food. Second topic is comprising of the mode or the method, or I can say the way I am eating food. So we will discuss the way of eating food in animals. And the third topic is utilization of food. In this topic we will study about how that food get utilizes or get used in our body. So let's move forward. First, this topic requires, what is the nutrients requirement. Now I can say the first topic is nutrients required. There are several nutrients we know: carbohydrates, fat, vitamins, minerals. You all know that, you all have learned that we have several nutrients named as carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, etc. So all these are nutrients, but an individual needs carbohydrate and second individual needs protein. So this requirement of protein, So this requirement of nutrients will be differ from individual to individual. If a person requires carbohydrate, second person, it's not compulsory that second person will also require carbohydrate in his diet. So this requirement of nutrients will differ from person to person. Suppose you are talking about as we have taken the example of farmer, a farmer, because he's doing so much effort and so much work, he needs energy, so he should get the food which is rich in carbohydrate. But if I talking about a baby, he does not require so much energy, but he requires so much protein in his diet to bodybuilding his body, to build his body, and to if I talk about a baby, he needs so much protein to build his body, to grow itself or to grow himself. So there are so many persons who requires some other nutrients, and the second person requires some other nutrients. So what I'm trying to say is the requirement of nutrients will differ from person to person. Okay, and everything and every life processes we are doing in our daily basis life, or we doing anything, we require some nutrients, we require energy, we require proteins to grow ourselves. So if we need to grow, we need proteins. And if we are reading, right now you are reading, you are listening lecture, if I'm teaching, if we are doing anything, even the blinking of our eye requires energy. And the energy, the protein or any nutrient we get from is food, we get from our food, that is nutrients, and we get them from fruits. So nutrients required for a person will differ from person to person, from individual to individual, and that depends on their works and depend on their requirement. Next topic is mode of intake of food. I have told about animal nutrition is comprises of 3 topics. First topic is, we have already discussed the first topic of this topic, which was nutrients required, and we have already discussed that what are the nutrients required, and the nutrients required will be differ from individual to individual. Now the second topic is mode of intake of food. What is the meaning of mode of intake of food? First is intake of food, means we are eating food. That process of taking food inside is known as intake of food. Okay, now there are several ways by which other different organisms can take intake, can eat food. So I am saying is there are several methods or several modes by which different organisms take food in. So here we call it mode of intake of food. Now what is the mode of intake of food called? The process by which we take food inside our body is a process known by ingestion. Ingestion is a term. Ingestion is a I can say ingestion is a scientific term. Okay, okay, ingestion is a term of taking in food. The way I take or you take food in is known as ingestion. Ingestion means taking of food inside our body. Now that ingestion comprises of methods of ingestion. Now you have all know, now mode of intake of food is known as ingestion. The way we are getting food inside our body is known as ingestion. Now ingestion have so many methods. Now we will discuss the methods. So you all understand what is ingestion. Ingestion is the process or mode of intake of food. Now there are some methods of ingestion, or I can say there are different ways of ingestion. Now what are the methods? First is swallowing, second is chewing, third is nibbling, and fourth is sucking. This is ling, nibbling. So these are the several methods of ingestion. First is swallowing, second is chewing, third is nibbling, and fourth is sucking. Now in the swallowing, what is the way, or by what process an organism take its food? You can see from this picture, here's a snake with a wide open mouth. He swallows an organism. He does not chew its food, or he does not wait for the digestion or anything. He just swallows an organism, and after that it will get digest in his body. There's a snake with a wide open mouth. He swallows a whole deer or a rabbit. He can swallow. What is the way of eating food for the snake? Swallowing. What first is swallowing. Though swallowing is the method of intake of food for snakes. Snakes generally swallow their food. They do not chew. Now, second is chewing. We chew our food. We chew our food in our mouth. You have heard that chew your food properly. So we humans actually chew our food. Okay, so what is chewing? Basically chewing is the biting or chewing our food into swallow it. We cannot swallow the whole organism or complex substances directly, but we have to chew our food so that we can engulf, or so that we can ingest our food. So what is chewing? We do chewing. We have to chew our foods. So third topic is nibbling. What is nibbling now? You have ever seen a squirrel nibble their food? If you have seen that squirrel eats grass, or eats a carrot, or eats anything, they nibble. They take their foods in small particles. That process is known as nibbling. Now the last method of intake of food, or the last method of ingestion, is sucking. Now you can see from this picture, there is a bee. He's sucking. He's taking nectar from this flower. This is a bee and this is a flower. He's sucking, or he is taking food by the process of sucking. He cannot chew, or he cannot suck anything out, but that fly cannot chew or cannot swallow the flower. There is a nectar, there is a juice present in flower which is known as nectar. I am saying flower contains a fluid which is known as nectar, and nectar is used by flies or honeybees. So the honeybees or flies suck out that juice from flower. So what is the method of their ingestion? Their method of ingestion is sucking. So all these 4 points are the methods of ingestion. What I have told, let's revise. Animal nutrition consists of 3 topics. First topic we have already discussed, nutrients requirement. That is differ from person to person, and nutrients required you all know: carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins. Now second topic is the mode of intake of food, which is known as ingestion. Basically nothing is complex. The ingestion means the intake of food is ingestion, and there are 4 methods of ingestion: swallowing, to swallow the whole organism, or to swallow the food directly is the method of ingestion, which is known as swallowing. Second topic is chewing. We have to chew our food. The second topic is chewing, which is the second way or second method of ingestion. Third topic is nibbling. The taking of food into small particles is nothing but nibbling. And the last one is sucking, to suck anything from food. So these all are the topics of mode of intake of food, or I can say ingestion. Now the third topic is utilization of food in the body. The food which we have eaten or the food which we have intake, how that food will get used or utilized in our body, that we will study in this process or in this topic. So what is the third topic in animal nutrition? The third topic is utilization of food, the food we have already eaten. Now how it will get utilized in our body? So this is the topic, utilization of food in the body. So first method of utilization of food in our body is digestion. Now what is digestion? The food, first we intake our food, which is known as ingestion. After ingestion, there is a process in our body happens which is known as digestion. Now what is digestion? It is the breakdown of complex components of food in simpler substances. So this is the definition of digestion. You can write from here. Digestion is the process which occurs after ingestion. And what is ingestion? Ingestion is the process in which we take food inside our body. Now what happens in digestion? If we take food, the food consists of complex components. The nutrients, what we are talking about is nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals. All these nutrients are complex substances. Our body cannot digest them as it is. So our system present in our body have to break down these complex substances into simpler substances. You get that? I am repeating. Digestion is the process which occurs after the process of ingestion. Means once we take food inside our body, the process of digestion occurs or happens in our body. And what is this digestion process? It is nothing but breakdown of those complex substances or those complex nutrients into simpler components or simpler substances, so that our body can get nutrients or our body can get anything from that nutrients. Now let's move forward. Animal nutrition, how they get nutrition? By same processes as we have already discussed, that after ingestion, or I can say after eating food, there is a process comes digestion, in which our food gets digested and nutrients, we get nutrients from that food. So we have talked about digestion, and digestion happens with the help of digestive system present in our body. Now what is digestive system? Digestive system is nothing but alimentary canal. Now what is alimentary canal? You can say it is a hollow long tube present in our body from mouth to anus, is known as alimentary canal. And these alimentary canal have some compartments. These compartments are these. Let's understand it. Suppose you all have you all know you take food by mouth. So let's start with the alimentary canal. First, what is alimentary canal? I am writing here. Alimentary canal is nothing but a hollow tube, hollow and long tube inside our body, which comprises of some compartments known as these, these all are the different compartments present in alimentary canal. So what is basically alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is a hollow tube which starts from mouth and ends in the anus. So I can draw it here. Suppose this is your mouth and this is a hollow tube in which your food will get digest, and this is the end of this tube which is known as anus, and this is known as mouth. And this hollow tube consists of some compartments. Now suppose here are the compartments, and these compartments are known as digestive organs, which are these digestive organs. Means, what is the alimentary canal? First, alimentary canal is a hollow tube present in our body in which food will get digested, and it starts with mouth and ends at anus. So these tube consist of some compartments, and what are these compartments? First is buccal cavity, second is esophagus, third is stomach, fourth is small intestine, fifth is large intestine, and sixth is anus. Now what is buccal cavity? First, the digestion occurs or starts within our mouth. After the intake of food or after ingesting food, digestion will occur or digestion will happen. So where or what is the part where digestion occurs first? So it is our mouth, and mouth is also known as buccal cavity. So in our buccal cavity, digestion process starts. Okay, so first is buccal cavity, second is esophagus, third is stomach, fourth is small intestine, fifth is large intestine, and sixth is anus. We will discuss these compartments or these digestive organs one by one in further lecture. So first we will discuss about, you can see this diagram and you can understand from this diagram very well. Here is the digestive system of human. So the tube, you can see the tube is starting from mouth. Digestion will occur here first. The tube is starting from mouth and it will end in the anus. So this whole tube starting from mouth and ends in anus is known as alimentary canal, or we can say alimentary canal have another name, is known as digestive tract. Now here is buccal cavity, or you can say mouth. You all know we intake our food or we ingest our food with the help of mouth or in mouth. So first we will take food in mouth. That food goes down in this food pipe which is known as esophagus. After our mouth, when our mouth ends, the pipe starts, which is known as food pipe, and the scientific term for food pipe in which food enters after ingesting is known as esophagus. After esophagus, the food will move inside stomach, is inside your stomach. The food after esophagus will move to your stomach. Then after stomach, it will reach into this highly coiled tubes. These highly coiled tubes you can see here, these highly coiled tubes is known as small intestine. After small intestine, the maximum digestion of your food, the proper digestion, or I can say the maximum or complete digestion of your food will takes place in small intestine only. And then the food after small intestine will move forward in large intestine. Here after reaching large intestine, the food will get the what after reaching large intestine, the water from your food will get absorbed. And where your water will get reabsorbed from food, it is the large intestine. Large intestine is the part of your digestive system or digestive tract where the absorption of water takes place, and the maximum digestion or the intake of nutrients from your food will takes place in small intestine maximally. Now after completing the path of large intestine, food will after completing the path of large intestine, the food will excrete out or comes out from anus. I hope you understand. Digestive system or alimentary canal is nothing but a hollow long tube inside our body, which is known as digestive tract or alimentary canal, in which our food will get digested, and it starts from mouth and ends in anus. And now you can see other structures here. One is liver, this second is gallbladder and pancreas. Now what our digestive system comprises of? The digestive system of human body consists of alimentary canal. I am writing here, you can also write. So human digestive system comprises of alimentary canal, or alimentary canal we can say digestive tract, and human digestive system along with alimentary canal consists of some, or exactly 3 accessory glands. Now what is accessory glands? Those glands which are in joining with alimentary canal, or I can say which helps in digestion. So here are 3 glands or 3 accessory glands present in our digestive system which helps in the digestion of food. Those 3 glands are: first gland, which is present in our mouth, or I can say in our buccal cavity, that is known as salivary gland. First is salivary glands. There are 3 glands. First is salivary glands, which is present in our mouth or buccal cavity. Second is liver. And third is pancreas. As I have told, our digestion of food takes place or starts in our buccal cavity in our mouth. So our salivary glands present in our mouth helps in the digestion of food. How it helps in the digestion of food? The salivary glands present in our mouth or in our buccal cavity produces or secretes saliva. Saliva is nothing but a watery fluid. When you smells good food, you get water in your mouth. That water or that fluid is nothing but saliva. So where it comes from? The salivary glands are present in our mouth or in our buccal cavity, which secretes saliva. So these saliva helps in the digestion, or I can say very clearly that saliva of our mouth contains some enzymes or some proteins which helps in the breakdown of food. I hope you understand. There is a first accessory gland which is known as salivary gland present in your mouth, which helps in the digestion, or it helps in the breakdown of food for digestion in your mouth. Then the food leads to the esophagus or food pipe, and it will go into stomach. Then the secretion of liver and pancreas, the secretion of second accessory gland and third accessory gland, which is known as pancreas and liver, will secrete their juices or enzymes into the stomach, and the food will get digested. So basically, what are these glands doing? These glands are helping in the digestion of food. I hope you can understand from this diagram very clearly. This is buccal cavity, which is known as mouth. In our buccal cavity, there are teeth present, there is tongue, there is salivary glands. So what our buccal cavity comprises of? Our buccal cavity comprises of teeth, tongue and salivary glands, which eventually or which ultimately helps in the digestion of food. Now the food will get stored in stomach, and the digestion will get started from stomach to small intestine and then large intestine. And after absorption of water and nutrients, the waste material of food or the waste food material will get excreted out or throw out of the body through anus. Now don't get confused about with the large intestine and small intestine. This small intestine is small intestine because there is a thin tube, or the tube's diameter is very short. Their diameter is very narrow, and large intestine have a wide diameter. That's why they are named as large intestine. Now let's move forward. This is the mouth and buccal cavity. This is the mouth and buccal cavity, which is the first part, or I can write here, the mouth or buccal cavity is the first part of digestive tract, and the mouth or buccal cavity comprises of teeth, tongue and salivary glands, which we will discuss in detail. First we will talk about teeth. Now you all have teeth. How many teeth you all have? So in an adult there are 32 teeth, and in children's there are 28 teeth. First of all, you all remember that when you were young, your all teeth were fell off. Those teeth which fell off at the young age are known as milk teeth. And after that, a teeth, a set of teeth arises. That set of teeth is known as permanent teeth. So first imagine or divide your buccal cavity or your teeth into four parts, like this and this. You'll have a quarter, and we will discuss about teeth. So if I see the front teeth, these are the front teeth. These front teeth are known as incisors. These four first front teeth are known as incisors. The second teeth beside incisors, which are conical in shape or which are spine like, are known as canine. This is your canine, which is conical in shape. Then after canine, you have two molars, or you have two big teeth which are known as premolars. First premolar and second premolar. After premolars, you have three teeth which is known as molars. So here are molars: first molar, second molar, third molar. And in children's there is no wisdom tooth. Wisdom tooth is the last four teeth which will occur, or which will arise in adults only after some age. So you have only 28 teeth. Your front teeth are incisors. Your conical shape teeth are known as canines. You have then premolars, and then you have molars. Now what are the functions of these teeth? First is incisor. Incisors are the teeth which are used for biting. If you bite an apple, or if you bite a guava, so you need to bite that fruit with your incisors. You can't bite that from your this part of teeth. You can't bite that apple, or you can't bite that guava with your molars or premolars or canines. You have to bite anything from your front teeth, which are known as incisors. Now what is the use of canines? These are conical in shape. These are so sharp teeth. Have you ever seen that animals which eat flesh of other animals, like tigers, have very sharp canines? Why do they have so sharp canines? Because they eat other animals' flesh, and for that they need highly sharp canines. So what is the use of canine? The use of canine is to tear up anything. So canine is used to tear anything out. Now premolars and molars completely are chewing teeth. So what we do with our premolars and molars? We do chew our food. These molars and premolars will help in chewing our food. So this is all about teeth. Now as from this picture you can see what this picture is saying and what this picture is saying. This is a happy tooth because he is regularly brushing his teeth, and this is sad because bacteria is attacking on it. So to keep our teeth healthy, we need to brush our teeth twice a day and properly brush our teeth, because when we eat our food, understand this please, when we take our food, that food gets accumulated or gets stuck in our teeth. Then we go to sleep, and microorganism or some bacteria present in our mouth will get stuck or will get eat our stuck food in our mouth. So they get food and they will enjoy it, and eventually they will get decay, or they get eat our teeth only also. So we need to brush our teeth properly and twice a day. So if we do so, the teeth will happy and look like this, and if we do not do so, the teeth will look like this and it will get decayed or get destroyed by bacteria. That's all for today.